What's up, y'all? Peace to the gods, peace to the earth. This is man, the King of Truth. King Truth is Allah coming on this. Where we at? We in understanding wisdom. Or wisdom. Peace, which adds up the power of refinement in our supreme mathematics. Peace. Oh. Oh man, peace. I just want to come on here, man. Something was going through my mind, man, lately. And it's about men and women, right? And people this kind of violent what I'm finna talk about, man. I'm finna talk about killing, right? But not nobody in particular. I'm just it's just a public service announcement, right? Like, I think, I gotta credit Tupac, Tupac Shakur for starting the whole diss the family, diss the wife and the kids movement in rap, right? He the one that, started it, with, dissing Biggie by, dissing Faith, which was Biggie's wife and baby mother at the time, and dissing Biggie's mother, dissing his kids, like, which was for no reason. You see what I'm saying? I do research, I do it. I put, I apply police science, police crime-solving methods to, these old cold cases that people still talking about today, right? And so, and so that style of diss has transcended. Other artists picked it up, and like you got Faggoty Sent who dissed, which I haven't heard the songs, but it is reported that he dissed Ja Rule's wife, he dissed Fat Joe's wife, he dissed Irv Gotti's wife, and I believe he would even strive to diss my wife. See what I'm saying? And it's not funny, right? To diss a man's wife. I can't speak for a woman, but it's from a man's perspective. It's not funny to diss a man's wife. That's like childish and immature. That for rap purposes, for the purposes of dissing. You see what I'm saying? And so, and it is inflammatory. It provokes violence. It provokes the thought of the person on the receiving end of the diss to want to respond violently when you attack in rap for entertainment, or in the entertainment, someone's wife and family in real life. You see what I'm saying? That's like, wow, why? It is said Faggoty Sent even diss Irv Irv Gotti's father, when Irv Gotti's father passed, he didn't even, just leave it alone. He had to say a diss. When Irv passed, Faggoty Sin had something to say. And so I just want to say, man, that, dissing a man's wife, that is the mother of his children. This woman, if they have children, has made babies, have made children that look like both of them. She has reproduced offspring. She has produced many me's of the mother and father, of herself and her husband. You see what I'm saying? And I'm just saying, everybody don't play that. You see what I'm saying? Everybody don't play that. That ain't cool. If you a rapper or in the music business and you got beef and, that person disses you, well, that's cool. But when you go after somebody's wife and mother and father and children, that's crazy. That ain't sane. That ain't ethical. That ain't cool. That ain't real. Dissing somebody's wife. So, you want somebody to go to jail in the music business behind you dissing their loved ones. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy, man. I was just looking at some pictures, and children are the mini-me's of the mother and the father. See what I'm saying? Children are the mini-me's of the mother and the father. And I don't think Tupac or Faggoty Sin understands that. See what I'm saying? That's foul, man. That stuff could lead to violence. Dissing a man's wife or his children, his grandbabies, that's crazy. Especially when they're not in the business. They not, they haven't dissed you. You see what I'm saying? So that's foul. That don't deserve respect or Hall of Fame notoriety. See what I'm saying? And once I've talked about this before on my Spotify and other videos on YouTube, but Biggie didn't get Tupac set up in the studio. Biggie didn't get Tupac hitting Vegas. So and Tupac knows this. The Nation of Islam believes it was real beef, but it wasn't. Tupac and Biggie was hanging in '97 after both of them had announced that they died. They was hanging together in the D and other places. So that beef in Quan Studios in Las Vegas was not real with Biggie. See what I'm saying? But Tupac attacking Biggie and Faith and Biggie's children and mom was unwarranted. It was misdirection, making you look at Biggie overlooking at Tupac's rape case. You see what I'm saying? Irv Gotti, Ja Rule, King Supreme did not shoot up Faggoty Sin, 50 Cent. Somebody else done that for unknown reasons. But Faggoty Sin tried to capitalize on this drama in his life, name people that already had street fame and entertainment industry fame. You see what I'm saying? So, and so to attack their wives a man's wife is the love of his life. Why drag? You can say anything about that man, but to put his wife in it for no reason when you know they didn't do anything to you. When Tupac and Faggot Sent knows Biggie or Biggie's wife and had nothing to do with nothing that happened to him. Same thing with Faggot Sent. Ja Rule, Irv ain't do nothing. Kenneth Supreme ain't do nothing to Faggot Sent. Did nothing. And you know Fat Joe wind up going after their wives. See what I'm saying? And that's just ain't cool, man. That's wow. You know, them brothers had to do a lot of soul searching, a lot of calming down to get out of past. But things like that could spark a man to hurt somebody in the rap game. See, this how lame and low down snake level these dudes is, that they want to diss your wife, your moms, your parents, your grandbabies. No, man. And you ain't do nothing to them. You see what I'm saying? So, man, that's that's all I'm saying, man. Them brothers is foul, man. That's crazy. Man, I was looking at some pictures. And I would be tripping if those two dudes had all this fame. They got worldwide fame, international, national, damn near global fame, and they want to diss my wife like she is nothing, to make them look like they dominant or alpha males or alpha men, and they not. You see what I'm saying? So that's just wow, man. That's just wow. Now, I got a song that I wrote in 94 or 93. And in it, I say, I got a line that say, the name of the song is Look For Me in the Mist. Look for me in the mist. Shay Whitey, look for me in the mist. Motherfucking dog and your wifey. Right? Look for me in the mist before your heart stop. Something like that, right? But it say, look for me in the mist, Shay Whitey. Look for me in the mist, motherfucking dog and your wife. Now Carl wrote the chorus. You know what I'm saying? And so I just put that in there, motherfucking dog and your wifey. But, I explained that could have been talking to my mother husband, my sister husband, or, it could have been talking to Carl. And that's just like riding out or rolling out with, somebody wifey, but not in a sexual, disrespectful manner. It wasn't meant to be that way. You see what I'm saying? So it was, that line, was not a diss to me being with another man's wife in a disrespectful way. You see what I'm saying? See, the video would show, it could have showed me. I couldn't talk to my father, motherfucking dog and your wifey. You see what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? It could have had a clip of me and Carl wife, or me and my sister. See what I'm saying? Me and my cousin. But, not in a disrespectful way. It's just, recognizing, I was going to somebody wifey, but it wasn't no sexual, disrespectful meaning behind that line. I don't do that. You see what I'm saying? I don't do that. That ain't funny to me, man. To, you know, a wife that has given her husband children, you know, to see them kids that look like both of y'all, and somebody, for the sake of rap beef, bring your family in a rap beef. That's crazy. That ain't real. Real is when somebody catch you and do something serious to you. In real life, in the real world, outside that studio where you think you a gangster. You see what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying, man. That ain't funny, man. That ain't funny. So today's math is power refinement, right? And so if you got power to, you got a recording contract, or you got the means to produce and make music and put it out there in the real world for consumption, then you have to use refinement to not cause a war, a beef, violence coming to you or somebody else. You got to use refinement, understanding wisdom, having a winner's mentality, understanding a positive mind frame. You understand? Using a positive mind frame not to cause violence. Do something that could lead, to hurt you or somebody based on what you're saying. You see what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying, man. That ain't cool. So the day the 23rd is understanding wisdom, supreme mathematics. We add up to 5's power refinement. And so you got power they're going to market you to millions globally, nationally, overseas. You're going to get marketed. But you talking reckless about a man's family that when we look into it ain't done nothing to you. You see what I'm saying? So, that's when refinement got to be used, because you trying to use your power as a mass marketed artist, rapper, lame rapper, to diss somebody. You see what I'm saying? You could have dissed something else. You could have dissed poverty and racism and slavery and, not getting reparation. You could have dissed, y'all being pushed out of school. You see what I'm saying? So, but y'all dissed somebody's wife. So, somebody's babies. Somebody's mother. Big Mama was extremely proud of him for achieving what he set out to do. You see what I'm saying? And Biggie ain't done nothing to Tupac. And they put up on me together in the same car. And they done that once or twice. Just to show me that, that shit bullshit. For whatever reason. Now, Big gonna tell you Tupac wanted me to know. So you got to ask Tupac what he really want with me, because I never met the dude. You know what I mean? Never. So, that's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. I'm out. Peace.